Welcome today to our second episode on Everyday Christian Living podcast. And let me begin by saying that once we started this, our smoke detector has now started beeping. So if it has a periodic beep, just overlook it because I'm not going to stop. We'll fix it directly. Okay, I want to talk to you today in this podcast. This is more on a personal level. And I want to ask you today, are you enjoying life as a Christian? Do you have a good Christian lifestyle? And are you having fun living for the Lord? I ask you because there are a lot of people that don't. I've got emails from people that have talked to me about they just don't have any joy in their salvation. Today, I hope if you listen to this, and I hope if you are bound by some things, if you've been taught some things that are binding you, I hope that you'll have a little different understanding. When we talk about everyday Christian living, if you look on our YouTube channel and you look at our banner in the background, you will see pictures of us, my family, my wife, my daughter, and myself, doing things that are getting out and enjoying life. You'll see things on there such as us going to amusement parks, maybe at the beach, doing things like this, fishing, and, just going to vacation spots and doing these type of things. Do you realize today that a lot of people think that some of these things are wrong? There's a lot of people that feel like these things will take you away from God. But I'm here today in this second episode to let you know that the Bible said Jesus come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. You can live above sin, but yet still live in this world and enjoy yourself. I remember many years ago when I hadn't been preaching too long, but I was talking to an individual about, giving his heart to the Lord. And the man said, I just don't know if I can. Because he named over some things, and he said, I don't want to have to give up this and give up that. Well, let me say it like this. Some of the things he mentioned, number one, wasn't even a sin to start with. Okay, but then number two, I told him, I said, don't worry about that. I said, just get right with the Lord and then everything will work itself out. Okay. So anyway, this man was an example of what I'm talking about. He had been taught, okay, this is wrong, that's wrong. And he didn't even want to come to Christ because he had heard that so many things was wrong. But again, our scripture goes back to the book of John, where the Bible said, I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. There are so many things today out there that I could tell you God has blessed me with over the years. We have done so many things. We're so happy, and we are still happy living for the Lord. But now, understand, when you come to Christ, see, a lot of times when a new convert comes to Christ, you might have something go wrong in your life. And Satan will tell you, see, it's because you're living for God. Maybe you come to Christ as an adult and all of a sudden your refrigerator goes out. And that's what he's going to make you think. It went out because you're living for the Lord. See, if you lived any which way, this wouldn't be happening to you. And maybe somebody really gets mad because something happens. Maybe their car breaks down and they really get mad, and the one part of them wants to throw a fit and cuss and all, but then they think, no, I'm not going to do it. I found the Lord. But then Satan will come and say, listen, you can't do this. You can't do this. You see what happened to you? And so many people give up before they even get started because of things like that. Well, let me tell you something. Things are going to happen to you regardless of whether you're born again or whether you're not. You know, just the other day, my daughter and myself was going to a nearby city. And as we was traveling the interstate, we went to get off at that exit on the city. Right near the getting off place. I mean, we was within not many feet at all of the exit. And I went to slow down, and my vehicle would not slow down. My brakes quit working. I could not push my brakes in. And thankfully, I won't go into all that right now, but thankfully, let's just say we survived. I'll say it like that. But what I'm saying is this: Satan could have come along and he could have said, listen, if that would have happened to a new convert, he could have said, you're living for the Lord, and that's why this is happening to you. But you see what I'm saying? It's going to happen to everyone. Whether you're born again or whether you're lost, you're going to have things happen. You're going to have a car break down. You're going to have a refrigerator go out. Maybe you're going to have your air go out on your home. You might get fired and lose your job. These are things that's going to happen to each and every individual. But here's the main thing. If you're living for Christ, number one, Christ will help you through that. But then number two, we're talking about everything else in life. When you have these experiences, if you're not born again, and that happens, what do? I mean, if your car quits working, and if it breaks down, you get out and kick the car and cuss? Well, after you do that, what do you have? Okay, you've let out anger, but yet your car still broke down and you don't have the Lord. But yet, if you have the Lord, when that happens, you can try to get through it. Pray that God will help you get through it with the car, financially, however it is you need it. And then after you get through it, or while you're getting through it, you still have the Lord. So understand today, God wants you to be happy in this life. And I want to talk to you for just a couple of minutes today, or a few minutes, about a verse that so many people are hindered on their walk with Christ about. And it is found in the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter number 5. And it says this. It says, abstain from all appearance. Let me get it out here. I have it. Abstain from all appearance of evil. Abstain from all appearance of evil. Now, a lot of people use that verse, and there are preachers that use this verse. Abstain from all appearance of evil. And they use that to really put a lock and chain on you, so to speak, to hinder things you can do in life, because we want to abstain from the appearance of evil. Okay? Now, let's look at that for a moment. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. I know some people growing up, they was taught some things was wrong. And it really hindered their enjoyment of life. Not life in general, but as far as things they could do, because they had been taught some of these things was wrong because of this verse. Yeah, I'm not saying the place that the church they attended, I'm not saying they did, although I know there are a lot of churches that do take things too far. I mean, what we need to do is just preach the way the Bible wants us to speak, okay? Speak about sin and the things that, God don't want us to do to partake in sin. But as far as going to extremes, you don't have to do that, okay? But this person, their family, would not let them play cards, as an example. And I don't mean strip poker or any of that gambling type. I'm talking about they wouldn't let them play Skip-O. They wouldn't let them play Old Maid. They wouldn't let them play Uno, some of these type card games. Why, you say? Because this was the line of thinking. They had been taught this verse, or they had read this verse. I don't know if they'd been taught it or how they came up with it. Maybe they got this in their own head. But they had it in their own mind that if someone drove down the road and seen you playing cards at your table, if they could look in the window and see you playing cards, this person told their children they could think you all are playing something you don't need to be playing. So if they see you playing cards, they don't know that you're playing Old Maid. They don't know that you're playing Uno. So because of that, you don't need to go and play cards of any kind. I know people before growing up that said you didn't need to go to an amusement park. Now, I'm not saying again, I'm not saying it's everybody, but I do know certain people that believe that. And myself, I went to them. My mom and dad, we went to, I don't know where you're watching this from, but there used to be an amusement park in Nashville, Tennessee called Opryland. And I went there quite a few times as a young kid. Now, really, Opryland's went out of business. There is what's called Dollywood. We've went there several times. Of course, it's quite a bit farther away now than Opryland was, so we don't go as often. But I used to go to Opryland many times growing up. But you didn't see a lot of people there that were, well, I guess you say it like this: a lot of people that taught amusement parks was wrong, and the reason why they taught this was because, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. There's people going into the amusement park that maybe don't dress a proper way. There's people going in that amusement park that curse. There's people that's doing stuff at that amusement park that's maybe singing, things that you didn't need to hear or whatever. And therefore, you need to stay away from the amusement park. Well, like I said, I thank God that, we wasn't raised like that. But a lot of people feel like that. And what they go back to, abstain from all appearance of evil. Well, I have a different theory on that. And it's not actually a theory, it's the Word of God. Jesus came into this world that we could have life and have it more abundantly. We could have fun in life. We could live in life. Now understand, I'm not talking to you about sinning. But the things I have used to you as an example are not sin. Okay? And I'm going to share this with you right now. First, let's look at, I want to read to you that same passage, 1 Thessalonians chapter number 5 and verse number 22. But I want to read to you out of a different version than the King James. Now, I know some people might say, well, you only read the King James. I look at other versions because there are things in the King James that is translated not exactly right. I mean, a few words here and there, and sometimes it makes a difference. And just to give you an example, while you're watching this, the Bible said in the King James Version, they asked Jesus when would be the sign of his coming and the end of the world. That's the way it's translated in the King James. But when you read some of the other translations, it's the end of the age, because the world doesn't end when Jesus returns. So it was better translated the end of the age. So I'm going to read to you what I'm saying here. And in the New International Version, now again, you remember the phrase, abstain from all appearance of evil. Well, in the New International Version, it says, reject every kind of evil. And then in the English Standard Version, it says, abstain from every form of evil. So do you understand what that's saying? Abstain from every form of evil. Reject every kind of evil. See, that sort of changes it a little bit rather than saying abstain from all appearance. Because a lot of people, when they take that word appearance, they're feeling like they can't do something because people will think they're sinning. But understand this. And when I talked to some people many years ago about this, and they was actually the people that said, well, we don't want them playing Uno. We don't want them playing Old Maid. I said, do you all realize by that same theory, I said, you shouldn't even have a radio in your home because people don't know if you're not listening to bad, vulgar music. I said, or you shouldn't go in a Walmart. And they would say, well, why can't we go in Walmart? I'd say, because people wouldn't know that you're going in to get a beer or buy something you're not supposed to. Or what about this? When I was a kid, I used to love to go to bookstores, and I'd get books and sports magazines and these type of things. But I said I couldn't go into one of those places. Do you know why? Because there was some other magazines up on those shelves that wasn't good magazines. They was adult magazines. So I couldn't have went into one of those stores. And they might have said, oh, that's silly. Not really. Not according to their theory. According to their theory, you can't do any of this, or people will think. People might think you're doing something wrong by going to an amusement park. People might think you're playing the wrong card when you're playing cards. Okay, well, again, if that's the case, you need to stay out of Walmart. People might see you buying something you don't need to buy. Or again, don't go in a bookstore. You might get a wrong book. No. Friend, when you do that, people are not going to have the joy of their salvation. You are in this world. You don't have to be of the world. Now understand, we're not talking about personal convictions here either. If you don't feel right doing some of those things, then that's your business. Okay? If you don't feel right playing any kind of card, if you don't feel right going to an amusement park, then that's your business. You can do however you feel in that way. But I'm talking about as far as saying something is wrong and people that can get out and function in life and enjoy life, but they feel like the chains are around them. No. The things that are sin in life you can avoid. Don't do. Don't partake in. But if you've got a good name, then people will know, just like the book of Proverbs said, people will know if you've got that good name, they will know you're not partaking in something wrong. Just because you have a headphone on and you're listening to music, people will know you're not listening to, some of the vulgar music that goes on in the world. Just because you've got a TV in your home, they're going to know you don't watch things that you don't need to watch. Why? Because you've got a good name and people believe in you. So today, I hope this video helps you, because please understand, if you've got these things that are binding you, see, you feel like maybe sometimes you can't leave your own home or you'll do something wrong. People will think you're doing wrong. No, don't do that. Because when you do that, Satan is doing what he wants to do. He's stealing your joy. Don't let him steal your joy, steal your happiness. God gave us things in life to enjoy that's not wrong, to have fun that we can do and enjoy. We go fishing. There's nothing wrong with that. My wife and daughter, they love to go to the beach. There's nothing wrong with that. We go to amusement parks. There's nothing wrong with that. And all the while we're doing that, we love the Lord. I hope today this helps you to understand that Jesus Christ wants you to have life and have it more abundantly. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And we want to be looking for you on our next one. Make sure you follow this channel. It's Everyday Christian Living. Check out our shorts that we put on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on Spotify, make sure you follow. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Because we want to help you enjoy life with Jesus Christ. See you on the next one.